how could we end without talking about what do you do when you forget something in the salah? What do you do if you miss a rak'ah, if you add a rak'ah, if you're not sure which rak'ah, if you miss the tashahhud? What do you do? So inshallah, I will be sharing with you here 5 scenarios, each one of them with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sounds good? No better example than that. Agreed? Bismillah. The first one, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a time in which he prayed dhuhr. Dhuhr is how many rak'ah? We want to be all on the same page. How many rak'ah is dhuhr? 4. So when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in the second rak'ah, there's a tashahhud, right? After, you should say Allahu Akbar, and you go to the third rak'ah. You know what he did, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, after the tashahhud? Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. So what happened? People were like, okay, guess salah got shortened. Some of them left the masjid. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam finished salah, got up, and he walked to like a post in the masjid. No one spoke to him. Umar ibn Khattab and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq were there, but they were very like, how do I bring it up? Like, Ya Rasulullah, you forgot. Like, it's like, you know the feeling? You know, fi hayba, the awe, as we say these days, aura. So there's a guy, he comes and he goes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His name was Dhul Yadayn, the man of 2 hands. His arms were very long. That was his nickname. So he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, Ya Nabi Allah, anasita am qasurat? Did you forget there's 2 more rak'ahs? Or did the salah changed in structure? So the Prophet ﷺ says what? I did not forget, and it was not shortened. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Insan alayhi sallam. So then the people said, no, if that's the case, then you actually forgot. Bal nasita ya Rasulullah. So then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, kama yaqulu dhul yadayn, you guys are all in agreement of what the man of 2 hands says? Then they say yes. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he went down, faced the Qibla. No, مش went down. He went, faced the Qibla, and did what? Allahu Akbar. And prayed 2 rak'at. Prayed what? 2 rak'at, the 2 that he, what? Missed. Then, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. We're not done yet. You need the super glue to make up for the mistake that you forgot. Making the 2 rak'at, that's amazing. You must, because you missed a rak'ah. 2 rak'at, you have to make up for it. But there's something additional you have to do for the fact that you forgot, the concept that you forgot. What is it? After he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, what happened? Thumma kabbar, Allahu Akbar. And he made sujood. How long was the sujood? As long as the regular sujood, and some said it was even perhaps longer. You don't have to make it long. I'm just sharing the exact hadith. So people are like, how long does it have to be? What do I say? Say like any regular sajda. There's nothing specific to be said in that sajda. Fair enough? Like, oh Allah, forgive me for missing 2 rak'at. There's nothing specific. You want to say that? Go ahead. But you don't have to. So what did he do? Allahu Akbar, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, dhikr. Allahu Akbar, he sat. Allahu Akbar, went back to what? Sujood, made the Subhan Rabbi al-A'la or dua. Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. So now we learn, if we miss a rak'ah or 2 from the salah, we come up with the thing that we missed. And then we make salam, then we do Sujood As-Sahw. It's called the forgetfulness prostrations in salah. The second scenario, same thing, but he missed 1 rak'ah. In another occasion, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one time he went to pray Asr, the 3rd rak'ah, you're in sujood. 3rd rak'ah, visualize with me, you are in sujood. Allahu Akbar, what should you do? You go up and stand. You know what he did? Allahu Akbar, he sat. As if it's Maghrib, but it was Asr. Said Tashahhud, he finished. So then once again, they went to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And what do you notice here, we learn from the Sahaba in this hadith, is that the Prophet ﷺ walked to a post in the masjid. So there was some gap, there was some time difference. So the ulama, they said, if the time where you missed or forgot from the time that you remembered is a reasonable time, you can go ahead and make up the rak'ah that you missed. Fair enough? Why am I emphasizing this? Because sometimes you may pray in the masjid, a brother noticed. Bro, you missed the rak'ah. Happens sometimes, right? So you finish salah, you leave the salah, and you walk to the lobby of the masjid, and brother, you prayed 3 rak'at. I saw you, someone else comes like, yeah, you joined with us, and you came late, and the whole scenario. You're like, oh, thank you. You go back, Allahu Akbar. Fair enough, it's reasonable time. Miss, you got to the car, saw you at qahwa house, like, by the way, may Allah protect us. Fair enough, that's a different scenario. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he was told you missed the rak'ah, in this hadith, he was actually upset. He was disappointed. غضبان عليه الصلاة والسلام يجر رداءه. You know how his house was attached to the masjid? So he was told as he was entering his house, so he's like, I forgot, got confirmation. He grabbed his clothes and rushed to go make up the rak'ah. Then sallam, said salamu alaykum rahmatullah. Then Allahu Akbar, sujood. Allahu Akbar, sitting. Allahu Akbar, sujood. Allahu Akbar, salam. What do you notice? But many of the scholars have said there's no tashahhud. He does not do the tashahhud again. So now we are experts if we miss a rak'ah or 2 or 3, 4 mushkila. Okay? Now we're going to switch it. We're not going to talk about missing a rak'ah. What will we talk about? Adding a rak'ah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prayed dhuhr salah one time. How many? 5 rak'at. So in the 4th rak'ah, he was making sujood. Everybody's expecting what? Allahu Akbar. Tahiyyatullah salatu tayyibat. Right? No. He got up from sujood to stand up to start a 5th rak'ah. After he finished, the Sahaba went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they asked, Azida fi salah, has there been an increase in the number of rak'at for the salah of dhuhr? He said, why you were asking that question? There's an increase. They said, Innaka sallayta khamsa. You prayed sallallahu alaihi wasallam 5 rak'at. Fathana rijlayhi. So right then and there, faced the qibla and he sat. Right then and there, what did he do? He sat and then he went where? Sujood. Made sajda, Allahu Akbar, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, did the dua. Allahu Akbar, sat down. What do we say in between the 2 sajdas? Remember? Rabbi ighfirli, or other dua similar. And then Allahu Akbar, sajda, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. So here he did not do a whole rak'ah like how he did when he missed it. He added. So all what you do if you added, you do the 2 sajda of sahw. Sounds good? Any questions about missing or adding only? Go ahead.
After you do the 2 sujood, you only do salam, you still do salam after the 2 sajdat?
Yes.
But there's no tashahhud.
No tashahhud. Now, you might have a difference of opinion about the tashahhud, but the salam, yes, must be done after the 2nd prostration. You say Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum. We'll take one of the brothers. Go ahead.
What if you're doing the prayer, you don't know if you did the 4 rak'at?
A very good question. I think that will be the most common question among us all, which is scenario 4. Sounds good? May Allah bless you, Habib. What if now you are unsure? Wallah, I added, I subtracted, I don't know, what did I do? And you know that awkward situation you are when you're in the masjid sometimes? You sit in sajda, and you're like, do I go up or do I do sajda? Let me just wait a few seconds for the guy next to me. The guy next to me came after me, I'm sure about that. Let's see what he does. Oh, okay, he sat, okay. Oh no, I think he's wrong. And then may Allah protect us. We all have similar situations. What do we do in this case? The majority of the scholars, they say if you are confused or unsure, did you pray, for example, are you in the 3rd rak'ah or in the 4th rak'ah? Then go based on the certain number, which is 3. How is that? Because for sure, you're not in the 2nd rak'ah. That's 100%. You're like, I'm either 3 or 4. For sure, not below 3, and for sure, not after 4. But 3 is where you're at, so build ala al-yaqeen. Why is that? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, sallu ala al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, إِذَا شَكَّ أَحَدُكُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِ. If one of you doubts what position you are in the salah, what rak'ah? ثَلَاثًا أَمْ أَرْبَعًا. He gives us an example, alayhi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I love when he gives the example. Whether it's 3 or 4, فَلْيَطْرَحِ الشَّكِّ. Ignore the doubt. وَلْيَبْنِ عَلَى مَا اسْتَيْقَنَ, and build on what you're certain about, which is what? 3 rak'at. So we solved half the problem. We're not done. Okay, it's my 3rd rak'ah. Okay. So now you do your 4th rak'ah. After you're done your 4th rak'ah, what do? Allahu Akbar. Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar. Rabbi ighfirli, or dua. Allahu Akbar. Subhan Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. You already finished that tashahhud in the 4th rak'ah. You finished salah, khalas, you did your 3rd rak'ah, you built on what's certain, and then now you went to the 4th rak'ah, you finished it, all good, but you didn't do salam yet. You go and you did the 2 sajdas. The Prophet ﷺ, look what he says about this. He says, if you ended up praying 5, because there's a chance you prayed 5, right? If you ended up praying 5, شَفَعْنَا لَهُ صَلَاتَهُ. This will become like an intercession for you. وَإِنْ كَانَ صَلَّ إِتْمَامًا لِأَرْبَعٍ, and if you were actually at 3 and you happened to be exactly at 4, so you technically did not add a rak'ah, كَانَتَا تَرْغِيمًا لِلشَّيْطَانِ. It was as if you humiliated the devil. What is that? How can we make sense out of it? Because the Prophet ﷺ in many other hadith, he says how this doubt is caused by shaitan. Remember I told you in the last session, there's a shaitan, his full-time job is salah, that's it. Focus and concentrated. So part of our doubts in salah comes from that shaitan. So he ﷺ said, if you ended up praying 4 perfectly fine, then these 2 sajdas are what? A humiliation to the shaitan. An example, it's like that's the devil, tak tak, you know? Like, don't you ever do it again, I pray 2 sajdas to Allah in your face. Right? Makes him regret it and he gets really upset. And shaitan, Iblis, when he sees how you prostrate to Allah, how he regrets. But that regret is useless and meaningless. That pain it causes him. I was told to make prostration and I refused, and you were told and you do it. May Allah make us of those who always prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's what the Prophet ﷺ said regarding that. Sister, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you do one more time? So after you finish the 4th rak'ah.
Okay, so I finished the 4th rak'ah. I'm at Tashahhud. So far so good? Tashahhud. Last khalas. إنك حميد مجيد. Typically, what should we do? Salam rahmatullah, done. No, you were not sure 3 or 4, you built on 3, khalas. Allahu Akbar, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar, Rabbi ighfirli, Rabbi ighfirli. Allahu Akbar, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Scenario 5. Scenario 5, sister, to be very specific, it's not about the sajda, but I'll answer it. It's about missing part of the salah. So I'm not adding a rak'ah, and I'm not missing a rak'ah. I am missing part of a rak'ah. Now the $1 million question is, what's the part that you missed? Okay, Bismillah. Let's talk about the scenario number 5, which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was in the 2nd rak'ah, 2nd prostration. Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. 2nd rak'ah, what should I be doing now? If I say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, I should be sitting. At-tahiyyatu, right? He said Allahu Akbar, then he got up. He missed the tashahhud, the first tashahhud. He missed the first tashahhud. فَمَضَى فِي صَلَاتِهِ. He continued the 3rd rak'ah, continued the 4th rak'ah. What salah was it? I don't have the specific salah here. But he finished the salah. After he did the tashahhud, at-tahiyyatu lillahi was-salatu wat-tayyibat, he finished. Everybody was waiting for him to do what? Salam. He said, Allahu Akbar. Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar, Rabbi ighfirli, Rabbi ighfirli. Allahu Akbar, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. He did 1 salam in this story. So to the Prophet ﷺ, what do you notice? He missed something, but did he make up for it, as in make tashahhud? He did not. Making Sujood As-Sahw, the 2 prostrations, covered for missing that. So next time, if we are in that similar situation, we were in sujood, 2nd rak'ah, I'm supposed to now say tahiyyat, but I stand up. When I stand up, I remember, oh, I should have sat. I should have sat. Don't go down. Don't go down. Proceed. Sounds good? For the first tashahhud example. First tashahhud example. However, if we will now talk about some pillars in salah. So now what do we learn? That the tashahhud, the first tashahhud is not a pillar. It's any pillar. You guys see the camera, the tripod. Use this actually light. You see the pillar? If you knock out this pillar, what happens? The light falls. And there's no doubt in that. If I had 5 legs, maybe if I knock out one, it may not fall. Right? There's other 4 as an example. So the pillars of salah are certain moves. If we miss, the salah falls apart. You got to make up for it. Sajda will not do the job. For example, the rak'ah. When he missed the rak'ah, did he just do sujood sahw? What did he do? The whole rak'ah, because rak'ah is a pillar of the salah. Okay, now we go to the sajda. Just the sajda. Is this my first sajda or my second sajda? First sajda, my second sajda. What would you guys do now with your knowledge that you gained? You would go with the certain one, the first one. Okay, you go with the first one. In case some of us is going through, maybe we have a very few people, maybe there's no one. But usually this situation is phase by phase, by the way, like it's a phase you go through. Some people are extreme in their salah to the point that they doubt every single rak'ah. May Allah protect us. And may Allah not make us go through that, because it's quite painful. If you're going through a phase of that sort, ignore your doubts and move on as if it's your second sajda. Move on. If you're in that extreme case, fair enough? Every salah you're doubting, every rak'ah, is that my first sajda, second sajda? You're so obsessed. Bismillah, they call it OCD or whatever terminology, may Allah protect us. In that case, you move on. It's not your first sajda, it's your second. Tawakkal Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sounds good? Excellent. So, let's say now you make one sajda. One sajda. By the way, sajda is a pillar of salah. You can write that down. Sajda is a pillar. Rukū is a pillar. So if I'm saying Allahu Akbar, Fatiha, Ameen, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ, Allahu Akbar, what should I do? Rukū. What if I go to sujood? No, I won't get up. I'm saying example. No, I won't get up because the Prophet ﷺ did not go back to tashahhud. No, akhi. This is rukū that you missed. So if I say Ameen, Allahu Akbar, I went right to sujood, what's the right thing to do? Get up and go to rukū. Get up and go to rukū. But what if I went to sujood, then I said Allahu Akbar, Rabbi ighfirli, Rabbi ighfirli, Allahu Akbar, rukū. Go back to rukū. Go back to rukū. Excellent. Let's take a few questions. Go ahead. Oh, excellent. Yes. Of course, if you missed the sajda and then you end up going back to it, you got to pray Sujood As-Sahw at the end. Ahsanti. Excellent. Muhammad.
You're praying in jama'ah and you, let's say like the Imam stayed in sujood or went straight to sujood. Like there's many scenarios. For you to remind him, you say subhanallah.
Excellent. And that's our next slide. I'm just joking. It actually will be one of the last slides. All right. So let's say the Imam makes a mistake. The Prophet ﷺ says in an authentic hadith, the men say tasbih, subhanallah, and the women tasfiq, they clap. And that's the signal that there is a mistake. Inshallah, I'll also stay behind for any questions that you may have. Sounds good? But I will take yours. But try, with comes to the sahw, any scenarios you have, make it real, like a real scenario that you encountered or you know someone went through it. Sounds good? All right, bismillah.